Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for all the comments on the video yesterday. Yeah, it's an interesting subject, isn't it? Obsessive characters, or people who've got, what was it? How did they phrase it? An unshakable belief. Today's video, I want to talk a little bit about councillors of state and Harry's status. William, Taylor Swift, Meghan's dog biscuits. That's going to be a big feature. And her jam, because one of the sugars on X, and I forget which one now, had said, something like, you old ladies, we're all old ladies now, go wild over Meghan's jam. I don't think anybody went wild over Meghan's jam. That's very much the point. No, I don't know what the supplier is, where she gets it from. But I mean, like, who cares really about jam? And I'd also like to say a thank you very much to Gary, who delivered this Highgrove jam to the Dolphin Safari office. I don't eat jam. I don't eat sugar, chocolate, ice cream, nothing. I don't even like baked beans or ketchup because I can taste the sugar in it. I'm not diabetic. It's just when I was 10, I challenged myself to go a week without chocolate and sweet things, and a week rolled into 2 weeks, months, years, and so I just don't do sweet things. And Graham now doesn't have sweet things either, but I think it's all natural sugar beet they have in it, and this is part of the Prince's Foundation. So this is very much royal jam, whereas Meghan's, of course, is just commercial jam, and no one knows where she gets it from. Or who the suppliers are. And I remember a lot of you guys saying, is it going to pass the Food Standards Agency or whatever it is you have there in the States? I think it's quite strict, isn't it? And that got me thinking about the dog biscuits. Now, I want to give a shout out to Glinda the Good. I'll put a link in the description to her channel. She's one of the smaller channels, but she has excellent contacts. She lives in the States. And she has her own theories and about the wine. So feel free to go and check Glinda out. Doesn't mean you have to, just only if you want to and if you enjoy her content. And I popped up on her live last night and we were talking about stuff, and it suddenly occurred to me, why dog biscuits? I mean, who on planet Earth would choose dog biscuits? I know people love dogs, but I mean, dog biscuits, is that something that a lady or a gentleman wants to become synonymous with? Or, I mean, talk about Meghan serving herself up on a silver platter. She's asking for trouble, isn't she? Selling dog biscuits. And then I thought, I wonder if she bought a ton of these biscuits for human consumption and she couldn't get the Food Standards Agency, and they maybe said only fit for animal consumption. Oh, well, dog biscuits. It's obvious, isn't it? How to shift. I'm not saying she has got a shed load of dog biscuits, but she might have purchased a bulk order of biscuits from somewhere, I don't know, another country perhaps, where the food standards are different. And when they tested them in the States, they're like, or in other countries, because she'd probably want to sell internationally. She's not just going to want to sell in the States. This is the internet era. She's going to want to sell all over the place. So maybe they failed the standards on some particular country, and so the deal was off. It's just my imagination again, getting carried away, because I just can't imagine someone like Meghan. That would be one of the first choices, is dog biscuits. Do you? I mean, why not cat litter? Meghan's cat litter can soak up more bullshit than you can handle. Yeah, that might actually work. Cats across the planet digging away in Meg's cat litter. I'm giving her ideas. I know I am, because then I hear a rumour last night from Glinda that she's gone into the wine business, so, rosé wine, which is what I drink. Hey, Meghan, I might just sue you. She definitely watches this channel, and I've inspired her. I like my rosé wine, which is a very, very weak rosé, in a pint glass with 3/4 water and ice, and then the rosé to colour it. So maybe she'll do some marketing like that. And I did do a video a month or two back when she first released the jam, and suggested that she probably goes to small suppliers, farms, probably in the States, because that would make life easier. I mean, originally I was thinking she might go to France for strawberries so she could give it that va-va-voom, something a little different. But she hasn't mentioned France, so I'm guessing one of the many excellent suppliers in the States. She's probably gone round struggling vineyards, struggling strawberry farmers, because it's fierce competition, especially in the States, which is such a lush country with huge agricultural produce. Not about the dog biscuits. They might have come from China. Maybe they came on a ship, and a lot of them were broken by the time they arrived. I don't know. That's if she bought dog biscuits. I mean, there's got to be some explanation for the dog biscuit thing, because I just can't get my head around it. Right, William. Of course, William. It is Taylor Swift, isn't it? I'm not very good on all the big names, but I do recognise this woman. And of course with George and Charlotte. Fantastic. Isn't it lovely to see them out and about? Why don't Harry and Meghan do that with their kids? I mean, they've been to Beyonce concerts. They've been to other concerts, haven't they? Why don't Harry's been to things like, didn't he go to Formula One in Houston or something like that? What a perfect opportunity to take his little boy. It's really weird. I've got to say, I've always been in the camp of they just want privacy for their kids. But even I'm beginning to wonder what's going on. It is very, very odd. Now, the councillors of state, let's come to this, because when I did the live with Lady C, I said to her, I distinctly remember that it was her who had come up with the elegant solution of the problem of councillors of state, of adding 2 new councillors of state, who we all know are Princess Anne and Prince Edward, Duke of Edinburgh. So that in case the King was unavailable, in case William was unavailable, it left Andrew or Harry, which is awkward both ways. With Andrew, bless him, he is innocent until proven guilty, but they're sensitive to these type of situations. And Harry, of course, in the States, well, we know he's moving back to the UK. Well, that's a big, big rumour. His buddy, Tom Quinn, seems to be going on about that a lot. Now, I have mentioned this before, and a lot of you guys have said in the comments, no, the palace have said Harry's never going to be called. Well, that's not exactly true. That's really media puff that came out to reassure and soothe the nerves of the public. But the reality is, Harry is still a councillor of state. And you talk about domicile, and some people say residence and domicile are different. Be careful with those kind of legalese. No, I don't think so. I mean, these Regency Acts, I've read a few of them and they're pretty loose. There's a lot of loose interpretation in them. They're not as nailed down as normal statutes, as far as I can see. So when you hear a YouTuber or a royal commentator saying stuff like, this is the law and it's nailed in stone, no, be careful with that one. I don't know how long a councillor of state has to reside in the UK. They could maybe just have moved back and been there a day, or perhaps they have to have lived there for 10 years previously. I can't find any specifics in the Regency Acts about that. Harry also is technically still a regent. Now, much as a lot of you don't like it, and I don't like it, that is a fact. So when I think sometimes the PR machines of the palace just put things out like, don't worry, it's never going to happen. Shh. That doesn't mean it's never going to happen. That's just to calm us all down to a certain extent. But then I see another excellent YouTuber, Bookworm, Bookie2, who I've been subscribed to for years, has been hearing rumours, so I will put a link in the description to that particular video of hers. She has been hearing rumours from her contacts and sources, and she does have good contacts and sources. They're not always 100% spot on, but they're pretty bloody good. I mean, I've been following this woman for years. Her contacts and sources, she said, have been quiet for a while, and she has received information that the wheels are turning to deal with the Councillor of State situation. Now, Lady C's elegant and excellent suggestion was really a sort of a short term in the interim. And when I say short term, when it comes to the royal family, short term is like 2 to 5 years. That's for them. We're in a hurry. We're running at lightning speed, because they don't. That the institution itself doesn't like lightning speed. But that's pretty quick for them. So she was suggesting that to just alleviate it for any illness that might crop up. Or any, if Charles was out of the country, William was out of the country, or something drastic happened, it's a little bit too little, just 2 people, when the other 2 councillors, it's tricky to have them. So I believe there are wheels in motion. So if the guff, and I've got to say it's guff, that, oh, don't worry, we're never going to use Harry. Don't worry about that. Oh, okay, I'll take that all day long to the bank. I'll take that before a judge and go, the newspapers said, don't worry, it's never going to happen. A judge would look at me and go, what the hell are you talking about? It's either the law or it's not the law. What are you talking about? So you've got to be pedantic about these type of things. So I do believe that he's going to be removed. And I think that's one of the reasons he wants to move back to the UK. I think another reason might be to do with tax or immigration status in the States. I don't know. I have been told to watch out for the month of July. Not quite sure why, but by a very, very reliable source. They've said, watch this space. And I think also, I mean, let's face it, he is a natural born prince. From the day he was born, he has had security. He's had everything handed to him on a plate. Do you think that the last few years with Meghan outside the royal fold has been easy for him? And I would suggest that even if he is magnificently still hooked on her, besotted by her and in love with her, which I doubt, I think his priority is going to be higher, where it's going to look awfully tempting. I want to try and get back in with the fold, because life, on reflection, the grass wasn't greener in Montecito. It's actually been hell outside of the palace walls. I've got all these legal bills. I didn't get my security back. Oh, and I do long for the days when the butler would bring me my PlayStation. That, I think, is going to be his top priority. And what he'll do if he's splitting with Meghan, or she's adamant she's not going back to the UK, what he's going to do to justify it to himself, because when there are children and there's a divorce, obviously it affects them adversely, or it can do. A lot of parents do really well, work really hard to make sure they still feel secure. I do not think these 2 individuals are going to be like that. And the kids not existing and stuff. Okay, I know. Feel free to say it, but let's just hypothetically say there's a prince and princess. Harry will justify it to himself in his mind by saying, they mustn't be denied their royal upbringing. It's not good for them to live in a hostile environment. And this will all be, trust me, his basic instinct will be, life outside of palace walls has been horribly uncomfortable, and I want to at least move back to the UK. Doesn't mean he's going to be let back into the royal fold, but he's got a much better chance of it if he's physically positioned in the UK, if you see what I mean. Plus, it might get him away from, I don't know, trouble and strife at home, who's probably going off a, I don't know what, because I just can't see any success stories coming out of that. In fact, she had everything, and she's done everything she can to throw it all away. So, I mean, and the Sugar's having a go at all of us. Oh, and Sugar, by the way, some of you ask, well, why Sugar? Well, I can't speak for any other YouTuber, but for me, it's an ironic title, because they are the furthest thing from Sugar. They are bitter little pills on X. Bitter little terrorists who go out and make allegations about our royal family, particularly our Princess of Wales, and they spew forth, Meghan's a success. I mean, these People must be completely daft or paid. I think we know the answer to that one. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Catchphrases for Meghan's cat litter, should it ever arrive. She should do a line in gimp masks as well, and ball gags, whips and chains and dominatrix stuff. I'm sure she knows a trick or two there. As always, thank you very much for listening.